guess it's time, 11:30. Thank you for coming. This is the info session for the pitch competition. Hope you are at the right location. And thank you for braving the cold. I wasn't expecting many people to show up, so I'm glad you guys came. You know, whether you have to walk a long distance or maybe you're a business student and you're kind of here already, that's fine. Thank you for showing up. And before we dive into talking about the pitch competition, just want to remind you, Innovation Week is coming up on April 1st through the 6th. You know the speaker coming over, Peter Quinn, and there are a few things going on that week. Those of you who want the drone challenge, that's going to be on Monday. We have an entrepreneurship hangout here on Tuesday. Then the semifinals for the pitch competition are actually going to be here in this auditorium on Wednesday, that same week. Then we have a special speaker for your gather, I guess, which is what is now called your weekly worship. And then the pitch competition is on Friday of that same week. So within the context of pitch competition, what we're talking about today for the info session is going to happen during the Innovation Week. And those of you who are participating, we'll go into the details. That's on Friday. Those are the finals. Not every team makes it to the finals. Only a few, but everyone participates in the semifinals. Right? So whether you move on more or not, you'll at least get to be part of the event. So the pitch competition is open to all students, on campus and online students, undergraduate and graduate students. There's no requirements in terms of the major or field of study. You don't need to be a business student or anything else. There's no requirements in terms of GPA, so any student can participate. And if you participated before, you can apply again. Even if you won before, you got an award before, you can apply again, assuming you need the additional funding for something else, as part of your venture. Something else that you're doing, a growth, a new aspect of your business or nonprofit you're trying to grow, and maybe now you need funding for that. And of course, you're going to be judged probably a little more strictly by the judges and saying, well, we gave you money already. What have you done with that? And why do you need more? Okay. And you can participate individually as a solo entrepreneur or as part of a team. But whether you are a solo or as part of a team, you can only be part of one application per person. And international students can participate. It's not closed to only domestic students. International students can also participate. Just FYI, if you're an international student and if you do get an award, because of the tax rules here in the US, the accounting or financial department here at Andrews actually has to take 30% of the award for taxes before they even give you the award, right? If you're a domestic student, you still have to pay taxes, and any money you get, you have to pay taxes. So if you're a domestic student, you still have to pay taxes, but you do that later on, right, when you do your tax reports in March or April. And maybe because of your age, maybe you don't have to pay as much taxes on that award, on those funds. But for international students, the financial department has to take that 30% right off the bat. Right. So in previous years, we have found that for example, for international students, having a partner for their team that is a domestic student is very helpful, because then the funds can go to the domestic student, so you get 100% of the funds, and they don't take the taxes up front. Or if you partner with another organization, a nonprofit or a company, an LLC, then also the funds can go directly to that organization, and then that way they don't have to take the taxes up the bat, right? So those are just some of the ways we have done it in the past. I think almost every international student before that won an award we found a way to try to not reduce their tax portion by 30% by partnering with someone else that they want to work with. Okay? So that's kind of the who regarding the pitch competition. The what is you need one application per team, or if you're a solo, and one slide presentation per team or your solo. And you submit that by March 15, which is the Friday right before spring break. And I'll show you in a moment exactly where you go and submit it. I'll show you the website so you can see it. But that's it. You just have an application with some general information about your name and so on, an email, etc., and then a slide presentation. And for the slide presentation, we actually have a template that you can follow, and it has exactly the information that you need to include on each slide. And you just submit that, and then the judges will take it from there, and they will tell you when to show up for your semifinals and so on. Okay? So all presentations are judged according to a rubric, the same rubric. So the rubric tells you exactly what aspects of your presentation they're going to be looking at specifically. What is it that you need to have on each slide? And if you follow that rubric and try to include all the information that they're expecting you to have, then you'll get the most points you can, right? So that rubric is also available online. I'll show you in a few minutes. And you can download that rubric, look at it, study it, and try to follow it so that your application, your slides look as best as possible. You can compete as a for-profit business or a non-profit organization, or maybe you don't have a registered company or a non-profit organization. You don't have to have something registered, with the government to say, well, you either have a business or you're trying to launch a business, or maybe you're trying to launch some sort of nonprofit type of effort, right? Whether later you'll be able to register a 501c3 organization, a nonprofit or not, that will depend, on what makes sense for what you're doing. But you don't have to have something registered. But in terms of the pitch competition, it doesn't have to be a for-profit business only or a nonprofit type of venture only. It can be either one. So you will submit your application March 15. Then they will assign you a time on April 3rd, that Wednesday during Innovation Week. They're going to assign you a time to come here and present for the semifinals. There'll be a panel of judges here at the front. There'll be a big clock right here that's going to show you your time, and you have 7 minutes to present. You only have 9 slides, so you have 7 minutes. And after your presentation is over, there's 5 minutes for Q&A from the judges. And we like to keep very strictly with the time, so that everyone who's participating, we can keep moving it. And the judges will ask you some questions for about 5 minutes, and then you'll be done. And the judges will evaluate both on the content of your slides and also your pitch delivery. Although the content has more value than how you deliver it, right? But we also take into account how you're delivering your pitch. Are you kind of reading from a piece of paper, or are you actually presenting and talking, right? And the top 7 teams from the semifinals will select the top 7 teams, and they're gonna go to the finals event that Friday, April 5th. That's going to be at the Howard, that event, from 2 to 4 p.m. on a Friday afternoon. After that finals event, then there will be a reception in the lobby to kind of celebrate all the participants. Okay? Do you have any questions so far? I'll tell you, I'm going to show you the website in a few minutes so you can see exactly how to apply. But just wanted to open up in case there's something not clear yet
On this finals event, how many teams will be on the final?
7 teams.
7 teams.
7 teams. And depending on how many funds we have, but last year we awarded to the top 6. We had 8 in the finals, we awarded the top 6. This year we're gonna have 7 and we're gonna award the top 5. So it's not just the first place get funds, actually the top 5 get some sort of funds. Of course, different amounts. Okay? All right, so why should you care about this competition? I think the main reason is that if you're trying to launch a business, a nonprofit, a ministry, a project, then funding is always needed, okay? And that's the main thing we offer through this pitch competition. We wanna give you funding, seed funding, to get you started. If there's something you've been wrestling with, you've been wanting to do, and you're like, well, if I had a little bit of cash, extra cash from, everything that you're doing to pay your university, then maybe I would do it, right? So that's what we're trying to do, to plant that seed, give you that initial funds so that you can get started, you can get moving. Whether that seed grows fast, slow, that's up to you, and that's also up to many factors around you, right? Not every entrepreneur succeeds on their first try, but we do want to plant that seed to help you try, right? That's the whole point, that you will try to grow something. And we give $30,000. The top 5 at the finals event, pitch competition, we're going to give them $30,000 divided money. The first place get $10,000, and then down from there. I think it's 10, 7, and so on. So right, so we distribute $30,000 to our finalists, our top finalists every year. We don't take any equity or any part or any ownership in your business or nonprofit. We give you the funds, and we just we like to meet with you prior to giving you the funds to look at your budget or your expected budget, how you plan on using the funds. Then we're gonna check with you at 6 months and 12 months to kind of get a report of how things are going. Hopefully by then, there's some movement, you started doing something with the funds, and we can see how they're being used and taken advantage of. So $30,000 in cash, and then in addition to those $30,000, there's actually two grants from, it's called the Social Innovation Award, and that means 2 teams will receive $5,000 each, but this is only for teams who are doing somewhat of a social innovation type of project in Berrien County. Okay, so that comes from the Fred Upton Foundation, which is a local foundation here in Berrien County, and they, I don't know if you guys know Dr. Song Kwan from Social Innovation Program, but he's one of our judges, and then he looks at all the teams participating, and he finds the 2 teams that he thinks have the best chance, that also have something that could benefit the local county. So even if you don't win first place, you can get this Social Innovation Award. So actually last year we had 2 teams. One team won 3rd place. They got $5,000 for winning 3rd place. And then they also got the Social Innovation Award, so they got a total of $10,000. Another team got like 5th place, right? And then they also got the Social Innovation Award, so that gave them another extra $5,000 to the $4,000 they got from the competition. So you can kind of double dip on this too. And surprisingly, the 3rd place actually walked away with more money than the 1st place of the competition. Why? Because they got the Social Innovation Award. So if you're doing something that you think could fit into that category of, a service that you can provide to people in the local community, anything related to social advocacy, kind of help the local communities have a voice, social entrepreneurship, a business opportunities that possibly impact the community here in Berrien County. So if you think your idea fits that, when you file your application, you can just select and say, well, I want to be considered for this, And you know, as you go through the different rounds, semifinals and finals, you're also gonna be judged on the Social Innovation Award, and you may be selected for that award on top of anything else you win at the competition. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Okay? And whether you get the Social Innovation Award does not disqualify you from getting other awards, you know, from the $30,000 pot, okay? So you can get from both of these. Like I mentioned before, we have the info session. There's another info session on March 5th. It's pretty much the same thing I'm saying today, but if you start working through your application and you have questions, you should come on March 5th and ask those questions, so that you know, you don't wait until the last minute to figure out what you're doing. But yeah, March 5th, we're gonna give a brief overview just like I'm doing today, but in addition, maybe have some more of a Q&A for some of you who are already working through your application and may have some questions. And like I said, the deadline to apply is March 15, that Friday afternoon, right before spring break. And we're doing an entrepreneurship hangout on April 2nd for everyone who is just wants to network, you know, with other student applicants. Quickly mention our sponsors. We have Advent is sponsoring this year, as well as the School of Leadership with the Social Innovation Award. Couple of businesses in Benton Harbor and Adventist Young Professionals. They're all as some of our sponsors for this year's competition. If you are, actually before I do this, let me show you our web page. Here it is. All right, so if you go to andrews.edu/innovation, then you can navigate to, you know, our pitch competition webpage. There you will find some of the information I shared with you, the important dates that I just mentioned. And then if you keep scrolling down, then you can go into the competition format. You can read more in detail everything I explained today about the semifinals, the finals, kind of the process of participating in the awards. I just mentioned $30,000. There's no categories. Everyone kind of participates in the same categories together. But more importantly, here you can find this, you know, there's two links. One is the application form. The application form is just a form you submit, some of your data, and also you submit your PDF with your slides through this form. Okay, so the application form is just data, your PDF with your slides or PowerPoint document, and you submit that on, you know, again, the deadline is March 15. You can submit ahead of time if you decide, but that application is right there. That link is right there on the competition format. Now let's look at the slides, because I think that's usually what generates the most questions, and people just want to make sure they're following directions correctly. And like I said, we have a template. This template, it's a Google Doc. You can download it. You can save it in your computer, download it, so that you can modify it, right? You can edit it. As you can see, each slide has a title and has a couple of bullet points or more, giving you, telling you what the content needs to be on that slide. You're welcome to, change the colors. You're welcome to, add images that you think are needed. You don't have to have the content written explicitly on every slide, because you're going to present this, right? You're going to talk about it. So you don't have to write everything on each slide that you're going to talk about. You can just maybe have an image, and when you come here to the semifinals, you're talking to the judges, right, about the information you have. But they're going to be looking for that information specifically. Those bullet points you see on each slide, that's what the judges are going to be looking for. They're going to say, did you talk about what problem you were solving? Did you describe your solution, your product, your service? And then they're gonna see, did you have a marketing strategy? Did you have a revenue model? Did you talk about who's your competition? Did you mention what are the traction you have or milestones you already reached, or where you are, your current status? And finally, did you mention who's in your team or if you're solo? And then there's a summary slide at the end. So as you can see, it's a very brief presentation. It's 9 slides, including the title slide. So really, in terms of content, it's only 8 slides that you're creating. So again, you can download this Google Google slide, sorry. You can edit it, play with it. Just make sure that the bullet points that are specified on each slide, make sure that you're covering that information, whether it is on the slide itself or when you present, you can talk about that information, okay? If you're thinking, I have no idea what a marketing strategy is, I don't know what's a revenue model, I don't know how to do a competitive analysis, and so on and so forth. If you keep coming to the other seminars we have on Tuesday choices this semester, we're actually gonna talk about a lot of those things in detail. We're gonna give you worksheets that you can work on, that you can use. We're gonna teach you how to develop, marketing strategy, revenue model, and competitive analysis. Those 3 tend to be the hardest ones for most people doing these slides. The other ones are pretty self-explanatory. What's your problem? What's the problem that you're solving? What's the solution? The solution you created. What's your current status? Who's your team? And then just a summary slide at the end that you're gonna just say how your venture is gonna change the world. You're gonna just give a summary of who you are and why the judges should select you. But these 3, marketing strategy, revenue model, competitive analysis, will have Tuesday choice seminars going in detail over those 3. So just keep coming and you'll get a little bit more information on how to prepare those slides specifically. All right, so this set of slides, and again, you can download it from our website. The link is right there. You attach that with your submission and your application form. You attach those slides, and then you just come here ready during semifinals to present. All right, 7-minute presentation, 5 minutes Q&A. Now I mentioned that the rubric is also here on this website. It's right here, the official rubric. What this means is essentially what this rubric does is it tells you what exactly constitutes, an excellent, I don't know if you guys can see it. There you go. Okay. So for example, for problem or opportunity, if you want all 10 points for that slide, you want excellent evaluation, then that means that's what you need to do. You need to explain the problem you're solving clearly, you need to explain who has the problem, and you need to make the problem related. If you do that well, then you get 10 points for that slide, right? Similarly with solution, marketing strategy, everything that you need to include is there on this rubric. And you have you can get a total of 80 points for content. And like I said, there's 8 slides on your presentation, plus the title slide. You don't get points for the title slide. But the other 8, you get 10 points each, and this is how you get your 10 points. It tells you exactly how to get those 10 points. If you didn't really do a good job on that slide, you may get 7, 5, 3, or if it's really poor, you'll get 1 or 2 points for that slide. And that's how the judges are going to determine which pitch was better. Now, in terms of the other thing I mentioned, the pitch delivery, this is what they're going to look for. Was the pitch engaging? Were you full of energy, or were you kind of boring yourself to death, right? Or did you actually come ready to deliver an exciting opportunity. Keep in mind, the judges are deciding who gets these funds, right? And they're gonna look at everyone and say, well, this person looked like he didn't even care about his own idea. This other person looks really excited, right? But that's only 10 points. Then another 10 points you can get from having good eye contact and not overly constantly be reading. So when you come for the semifinals and for the finals, well, for the semifinals at least, you're actually gonna be standing exactly here. You're gonna have, you can have your slides right here, so you can kind of look at it and look at the judges and be looking at the clock, on the other side. But I mean, you can have notes. It's okay to have notes if you prefer having written notes or printed. But if you're reading constantly, then you're gonna be losing points for that, right? You wanna be engaging. You don't want to just be reading all the time. Spoke clearly, use easy to understand language. I think that's self-explanatory. You don't want to be too technical on your presentation with your language, because the judges are not, they're not necessarily scientists or engineers. They may not understand, a technical language that you use. So use simple language, easy to understand, and also try to transition well between slides, right? What we tend to do a lot is that we put one slide, we read the title, and then we start talking about it. Then we click, and we read another title, and then we start talking about it, right? That's not the most engaging presentation. You want to be, you want to do it more as a story, as a conversation, and you're clicking between slides just because you're showing some content. But if you're relying too much on your slides to read on them and to also remind you what to say, it's gonna come off as a little, kind of choppy, right? I think you all have seen good presentations. Think of a TED Talk, right? That's probably, kind of the standard, very good presentation. Of course, we're not expecting everyone here to be, professional presenter, but if you want to get a clue of what constitutes a good presentation, just watch some TED Talks. And you can notice that they're very engaging, they're not reading constantly, they kind of have most of the thing memorized actually. And they're kind of just going about it, telling you a story. That's why those talks can be engaging, okay? So again, the rubric is there. So you get 80 points for content, 40 points for your delivery. So twice as many points for content than delivery. So you want to make sure that you have enough content and good enough content that you're getting all those points, and then you can work in your delivery. You can practice your delivery, with your friends, with people, and just practice in front of the mirror. A 7-minute presentation. You can practice that in your dorm room. Time yourself. Make sure that you're saying it. And the more you practice it, you actually start memorizing it just by practicing it. And then the first time you practice is gonna be really choppy. You're gonna be struggling for words. The second, the third time is just gonna be a lot better. If you come here and the first time you're actually delivering that presentation is here in front of the judges, everyone's gonna realize that that's your first time making that presentation, and it's gonna be kind of choppy. Okay. So that's it in terms of the application form, the slides, the rubric. Okay. Any questions on that? I know I went through a lot of information there, but just wanted to give you a general overview of everything that you need to do, and then if you have questions now, we can dive into some of your questions in terms of the actual slides and so on. Yes?
So does the presentation have to be made through Microsoft PowerPoint, or could it be through Google Slides or something?
You can use Google Slides. At the end of the day, we prefer that you give us a PDF. You can use a PowerPoint presentation. If you use other software, then when you submit your slides, just submit them as a PDF so that the format doesn't get changed. That tends to happen. If you send me another format, I try to open in PowerPoint or something, you may get rearranged. But PDF at least stays consistent. Okay? Any other questions?
This is slide presentations and plates. How much can we innovate on that? Because it seems like that lock me inside this specific step by step, and I understand it's important to have some information, to answer some questions for the judges. But it seems to me that I cannot innovate by like kind of stuck on this template.
Sure.
I need to put the logo on this side or this picture on that position. So how much variation is allowed without losing points on the road?
Sure, yeah, good question. So you don't have to put the logo on that side. The titles, on each slide, you don't have to have titles on each slide, right? For example, here it says problem or opportunity. You don't have to have the title that says problem or opportunity. The judges will know that's what you're talking about, right? And you don't have to have, an image right exactly in that position. You can move that around. And really, what the judges are going to be looking for is, did you talk about those bullet points? So this whole slide could be just a big picture, for example. Let's say your problem is you're helping people that don't have power in rural areas. Maybe you have a picture of a house in a rural area with solar panels, right? And you just want to make the problem relatable, and you do that by just placing a picture on that slide. And then you're talking about the problem. You're talking about who was the problem, but you don't have to write it down on bullet points. So that gives you freedom for each slide. So each slide, think of it as a canvas, and within that canvas you can play. But something you cannot do, you cannot have more than 9 slides. You cannot just be adding all these slides at the end. Only 9 slides are allowed, and preferably only 1 slide per topic, right? Slide 2 is the problem. Slide 3 is the solution. Slide 4 is marketing, right? Slide 5 is revenue. So don't don't remove slides. Like let's say you don't have a marketing strategy slide at all, and you have 2 for maybe your solution. That's gonna confuse the judges, right? It's just gonna confuse the judges and say, well, I didn't see their marketing slide. What happened there? Did they have it or not, right? So just put a slide there, even if you're just gonna talk about it, but within that slide, you use it as a canvas. Okay? Good question. Okay, other questions?
One more question.
Yeah.
If on this semi-final presentation, I already have my product kind of ready, not ready to mark, but ready to show. In my case, it is a software, an app.
Okay.
So can I show the app?
So the way that you can show the app is on this slide. You can put screenshots, right? You can take screenshots of the app and put them on this slide. And you can tell the judges the app is already, I already built the app.
But I can't get my phone and demo the app, like.
You can, but keep in mind you still have the same time limit. Yes, you can get your phone and you can kind of demo it either to the judges or or you're connected to the PowerPoint. You can demo it quickly. My recommendation is that you maybe record your demo even ahead of time. So it can be a video that is you click play on this slide and it has a video of you demoing the app. So that you know exactly how much time, you're not trying to rush through your demo. You know that it's a video, takes 30 seconds or a minute, and that way is more controlled. Yeah. So again, within a slide, you can put a video, you can put some sort of animation on a slide if you want to be able to show a little bit more, right? Because a slide can be static. But if you think, I would like to have a video, maybe you have a device and you want to take a video of that device, right? And then you put that video on the slide, and you click play when you get to it, and the judges can see your video, right? So that's fine. That's allowed. Okay, and finally, I think this is just the last two slides. If you want to be able to ask more questions in the meantime, if you want to share your slides with me or with also other alumni that could give you feedback, we have an online community. Some of you already joined this online community. It's called Andrews Innovation. If you haven't joined, just scan the QR code. So that's an invitation link. And here you can ask questions. You can even upload your slides, and people can critique, give you feedback on them. And whatever questions you have, you can do that as well. In the meantime, between now and the next info session, you can also have that point of communication there. Okay, good. And other ways to stay connected with us, of course, email, our website, our Instagram, or you can visit our office at the Arts and Design Center. Yes?
Have the judges been picked for this year?
Sorry?
Have the judges been picked for this year?
Some of them have, because we did something different this year. Actually, some of the gold sponsors get to be a judge on the panel. So I know for sure we have the 3 gold sponsors. That's three judges already that are selected. So from 52 West Wall Street, that's, I don't know if some of you know Dr. Wayne Buchanan. He used to teach in engineering. He's going to be one of the judges. From the School of Leadership, that's Dr. San Juan. And then from Advent Health, they haven't told me if they're sending a judge. They're the hospital in Chicago. Actually, they're branch in Chicago. Okay. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. You can stick around if you have other questions afterwards, or you want to just ask me directly, and we just do those of you that need the co-curricular. Just do that real quick.